Jim Baxter, fondly nicknamed Slim Jim, was one of Scotland's most gifted and charismatic footballers. A man whose elegance on the pitch made him a legend for both Rangers and the Scottish national team. His career was marked by moments of pure brilliance, none more famous than his performance against England in 1967. But his life off the pitch was equally notable. Often overshadowed by personal struggles, particularly his battle with alcohol. Baxter's story is one of remarkable skill, larger-than-life personality, and the challenges that can come when talent and temptation collide. Jim Baxter was born on September 29, 1939, in Hill of Beath, a mining town in Fife, Scotland. This was a place deeply tied to working-class traditions and a shared love for football. Life in Hill of Beath was modest, and Baxter grew up as the youngest of 3 children in a close-knit family. His father worked as a miner, and his mother was a homemaker. Despite financial limitations, Baxter's parents supported his love for sport from the start. From an early age, Baxter displayed natural footballing talent. He spent countless hours playing informal games with friends in local fields and on the streets, honing his control, touch, and game awareness. In Hill of Beath, football wasn't just a pastime, it was part of the community's identity. And this environment played a huge role in developing his skills. He attended Beath High School, where he stood out in school matches and local youth clubs. Teachers, friends, and townsfolk began to notice that Baxter's ability was special. And even though professional football offered no guarantees, they encouraged him to pursue his dream. His formative years were about more than just football. They were about resilience. The fields he played on were far removed from the manicured pitches of professional stadiums, but those rough conditions toughened him up and taught him to adapt. They also gave him a foundation of creativity and vision that would define his style in the years to come. Baxter's move from street football to the professional game was not without its challenges. In his teenage years, his skill was undeniable, but physically, he was not the biggest or strongest player. Some doubted whether he could survive the rough, physical nature of senior football. Yet Baxter's intelligence and ability to dictate play made him stand out. He first came to wider attention while playing for local junior sides, where his passing, vision, and composure caught the eyes of scouts. His first professional opportunity came with Raith Rovers, a club willing to take a chance on his potential. Joining Raith was a huge leap for Baxter. The training demands, tactical expectations, and higher standard of play were all adjustments he had to make quickly. Yet, instead of being intimidated, Baxter thrived. He adapted his game, sharpened his fitness, and learned how to deal with the pressures of professional football. During his time with Raith Rovers, Baxter's talent began to shine on a bigger stage. His control of the midfield, his knack for dictating tempo, and his ability to spot a pass made him indispensable. These years were critical in shaping both his footballing skills and his character. Raith gave him the platform to showcase his abilities, paving the way for a move that would change his life. In 1960, Rangers, one of Scotland's biggest and most successful clubs, signed Baxter, marking the beginning of the most celebrated phase of his career. This was more than just a transfer. It was a statement. Rangers saw Baxter not only as a talented midfielder, but as someone who could be central to their ambitions. Baxter wasted no time proving them right. His style of play was a joy to watch, elegant, confident, and full of flair. He had an exceptional ability to control the ball, pick out inch-perfect passes, and glide past opponents with effortless dribbles. Fans adored him, opponents feared him, and teammates relied on him. He wasn't just a midfielder. He was the heartbeat of the team. In the early 1960s, Baxter helped Rangers to multiple league titles and cup victories, playing a key role in what became one of the club's golden periods. Under his influence, Rangers were not only winning, they were dominating. Baxter's intelligence on the pitch made him a tactical leader, someone who could read the game and adapt in real time. His charisma off the pitch also made him a natural leader in the dressing room, beyond domestic competitions. Baxter impressed in European matches, where his calmness and technical skill stood up against top continental opposition. By the mid-1960s, he had become a symbol of Scottish football excellence, setting standards for what a midfielder could be, while Baxter's club career brought him plenty of success. It was his performances for Scotland, especially against England, that cemented his legend. In 1963, Scotland faced England at Wembley and suffered a huge setback when Eric Caldo was injured and the team was reduced to 10 men. Against the odds, Baxter rose to the occasion, scoring both goals in a 2-1 victory. His display was nothing short of heroic, combining skill, determination, and leadership. But it was the match on April 15, 1967, that would become his defining moment. England were the reigning World Cup champions, having lifted the trophy the previous summer. Scotland went to Wembley and beat them 3-2, with Baxter putting on a masterclass in midfield control. At one point, while waiting for his teammates to move into position, Baxter famously juggled the ball in the middle of the pitch, taunting the English and delighting the Scottish supporters. It was a display of both audacity and artistry. Pure Slim Jim. Some critics later suggested that Scotland could have won by an even larger margin if Baxter had pressed harder instead of showboating. But for most fans, that match was a moment of national pride, and Baxter's cheeky juggling became a symbol of Scottish confidence. In 1965, Baxter moved south to England to join Sunderland, seeking new challenges in the English First Division. It was a significant shift. The style of play was different, and so were the expectations. While he still produced moments of brilliance, his time in England was inconsistent, partly because of recurring injuries and partly because of his lifestyle off the pitch. Later, he joined Nottingham Forest, but the pattern was similar. There were flashes of genius, but they were increasingly rare. Baxter's dedication to training and discipline was questioned as his social life, filled with late nights and heavy drinking, often made headlines. While fans still revered his talent, it became clear that the off-field distractions were taking a toll. Eventually, Baxter retired from professional football, marking a turning point in his life. The transition was not easy. Like many ex-players, he struggled to adapt to life without the structure and adrenaline of the game. Though he never moved into high-profile management or punditry, he remained a well-loved figure in Scottish football circles. Away from the pitch, Baxter was as charismatic as he was with a ball at his feet. He enjoyed socializing, music, and being the center of attention. His quick wit and charm made him popular in pubs and clubs, and he lived life at full speed. Baxter had family commitments and children, but his public persona often overshadowed his private life. However, his love for nightlife was not without consequences. His drinking became a defining part of his reputation, and it sometimes overshadowed his football achievements. While his teammates might have admired his confidence, coaches and medical staff often worried about his health. By the early 1990s, the effects of Baxter's lifestyle were catching up with him. Heavy drinking had led to serious liver damage, and in 1994 he underwent 2 liver transplants. These operations were stark reminders of the price he had paid for years of excess. Though the surgeries gave him more time, his health remained fragile. In his later years, Baxter was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and on April 14, 2001, he passed away at the age of 61, while cancer was the immediate cause. It was widely acknowledged that decades of heavy drinking had weakened his body and contributed to his early death. Jim Baxter's story is not just about football. It is about the human side of fame and talent. On the pitch, he was one of the most technically gifted players Scotland has ever produced, a midfielder who could command a game with both elegance and authority. Off the pitch, He was a man who embraced life's pleasures, but also faced the consequences of his choices, though he never won as many individual awards as some of his peers. Baxter's place in the Scottish Football Hall of Fame reflects his enduring influence. His style of play, confident, composed, and creative, has inspired countless young players. Even now, decades after his peak, stories of his showboating at Wembley in 1967 still circulate among football fans. Jim Baxter remains a reminder that sporting greatness is about more than just statistics and trophies. It's about moments, the kind that capture imaginations and live on in memory. For Scotland, Baxter gave them some of their proudest days on the football field. For Rangers fans, he was a symbol of a golden era, and for those who knew him, personally, he was an unforgettable character. Flaws and all, his life serves as both inspiration and cautionary tale. Inspiration for his artistry and fearlessness on the ball, and caution for the personal struggles that can follow success. Above all, Jim Baxter's name still brings a smile to those who saw him play, a true footballing legend, whose impact is as much about how he played the game as the games he won.